know us black people don't get too many times to feel proud. we don't get too many times to feel proud.
No.
I be trying
as a nation about 2-3 times a year.
Yeah. As a nation 2 or 3 times. I be trying to find ways. I told my wife, I was like, I know it be sometimes sound like I'm militant, but I'm not. I just want to be proud of who I come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Like Fancy Hill Baptist Church, they taught me some shit, and I be proud. I be proud of my blacks, man.
I be feeling it. I be like, man, I say some shit and it just sound militant as fuck. And then I be looking around and motherfuckers be like all wide eyed. I just be like, fuck it. I just have to own that shit and keep on moving. Cause it's just like they be like, oh my God, yeah, I said that.
But why is it so bad for us to find pride in ourselves? Yeah. Like it's other people can find pride in. Yeah, I'm about to say something.
We'll get into it.
Like gay people got pride. Asian people got pride. But why is it so bad for us to have pride in ourselves? When we got pride in ourselves, that must mean we ready to start some shit. That's how they look at us. Oh, these niggas about to cut up.
We might if you don't shut the fuck up. Mr. White Meat. Nah. That's how it be though. What's good, everybody? It's man Chris back in here for another episode of the Slide Through. Ooh, it's 2024.
Yeah, 2024 already. 2024. It's like this might be the year of open expression because everybody expressing themselves open. Don't give a damn what people think. Like fuck it, man. I'm finna tell you how I feel.
I'm for it. I'm all for it. But don't be surprised when I tell you what's on my mind at the same damn time. Cause right. Whatever come out your mouth can come out of mine too. Anytime you feel like speaking your thoughts, my thoughts has got a mouth too, and it's just right there on the tip.
Bad as yours, man.
Be wanting to say some things sometime, man.
Stop making thousands with yours. I'm about to give you mine.
Hey,
strap up.
I said it's a leap year, election year. Shit be going down. Last time we was here, it was 2020. It was COVID. Shit went down. Was the January 13th? Somewhere around there.
Start till what, March?
That shit, yeah. Cause it was right there around March Madness when the tournament was getting ready to start.
Starting March. Cause I had just started coke, and soon the first week in March I was there. I know I was sitting in class. I shot that damn video of them men walking up in the Bank of America building in Charlotte with the hazmat suits on. I said, shoot, I ain't never seen nothing like this.
This shit was crazy.
It was.
It looked like that movie Outbreak.
Nigga, what? I was like, man, that's crazy.
And then like the whole year was just crazy as hell. And now here we are, 2024.
Hey, tell me something.
What's up?
So, okay, see, you making it make sense.
What you mean?
So, okay, I know I'm about to get off subject a little bit, y'all. You know that's how my mind go. Cause I be talking at work like this, but Y2K, was that an election year?
Yes.
That's some funky ass shit, man. Cause I promise, it's a documentary. It ain't even a documentary. It's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
It's not even a documentary, Chris. It's just showing you. It's like it's showing the commercials that they had during Y2K. It ain't even people talking about, we thought this during the time of Y2K. You know how they usually talk to people back then? No, it's just showing you up to that point. Yep. All the stuff we were seeing on the news. I was sitting there looking at this shit like, we were sitting here really listening to these white people tell us all this shit was going down. And the government was in on it.
Yeah.
These niggas, niggas said we did a test and the sewage plant malfunctioned and sewage just leaked all over the ground. Yep, that mean Y2K coming. Nigga, how? What the fuck? These niggas have people at Times Square. This woman was like, I'm not going to Times Square. I'm not going to Times Square this year. I'm going to stay in the house. And I remember myself, nigga, I'm sitting in the house over there on Lexus High Shows Road in the country. Ain't nothing but fucking street lights. It ain't like we got skyscrapers and shit, street lights and cows and shit. So I'm sitting
moon
there.
and stars. That's all the lights you got.
Moon and stars. I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just sitting there still. Like, damn, my lights is still on. Let me look outside. I was like, dang, we bit that.
That's the one time everybody and their mama stayed the fuck up.
That's what.
To see the damn New Year come in.
This is scary as shit.
You did not go to sleep that night.
You didn't. You did. That's why
and I was young as hell. I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, it was like... You sitting there rocking in your chair looking at that clock, boy. All the shit on in the house. Computer on. We ain't had no cell phones like that, you know what I'm saying?
So, no cell phone.
You know, so it's like you might have a computer on, you got all the little electronics in the house on, but what shit hooked up to no network? So just really your computer. Wait to see what's gonna happen. Damn. See if the digital clocks was gonna change like they said.
It was 2 digits in this computer code that was off, and this is gonna crash everything. We're going back to martial law, living off the land. This little white couple, them like, yeah, we learn how to grow our own crops and everything. I'm like, nigga, we actually thought we were gonna have to go through this with this shit. Bill Clinton and his happy ass sitting on here talking like he knew we was gonna go through it too. Like, niggas, how y'all got all this money and can't figure this out?
That motherfucker was hoping that shit was gonna get erased, so wouldn't nobody remember him getting his dick sucked.
Man, I'll sit there.
But my
wife was like, why are we watching this? I said, because I'm just astonished looking back what we believed back then. Like, the government controlled us to the point we really, really thought this was gonna happen, y'all.
Man, look, this place got
Satan was coming in. The churches got in on it. This is the coming of the second coming of Christ, and that. I'm like, we really the whole world was in a chokehold, and I begin to think, I'm like, damn, I thought COVID was the fucking chokehold. At least COVID was fucking real. Like, COVID was a real thing.
I mean, it was.
Y2K wasn't even real, Chris. The world was in the chokehold. They was like, New Zealand is the first that's gonna feel the effects of Y2K, and they sit there
because they always on the other side.
Yeah, it was like, their lights are still on.
And see, we ain't had the internet back then, so it's like you really can't even see what the fuck is going on. 13 hours ahead of us. Yeah. So I mean, I know now that there was a lot of other shit going on in the world at the time of Y2K, which I understand now, and it's way out of the confines and the subject of this podcast today. Because if I get started on that, if I really get started,
the only reason I went down there because you had said what you said, because it's election year. I didn't know it was late. That's why I asked.
Yeah, 2000 was the election. That's when Bush got elected.
Y'all see,
2000.
Damn, as I get older, I realize it's like they really do throw shit your way to fuck with you right around election times. All right. So as of right now, we ain't got nothing but Cat Williams. I don't think
we got a whole lot. We got a list of shit that's been jumping off.
But it ain't jumped off all the way yet. You get what I'm saying? It ain't on that world turning shit.
No, it hasn't. But like it's building up.
It's
like
coming.
I mean, we done seen Cat done jumped off supposed aliens in Miami. Then they done found like bodies buried in the back of a damn Mississippi prison. Did you see that shit? That. Like. It's some wild shit. Nigga jumping over the damn thing in the courtroom to stomp the little judge face in, all that shit.
I seen that too.
I mean, it's been some wild shit. And it's like I said, it's January. COVID didn't pop off till about
March.
Well, they started
February, March.
Niggas was getting nervous around November, December, but it really started hitting that stride around the end of January, middle of February, and that's when they was like, oh shit. And then March, they shut the shit down. So we gonna see what happened. But yeah, Y2K, that's a whole nother. I might have to own.
Man, I'm gonna go back. I was.
I had to.
Somebody asked me like, "Why you watch documentary?" Because I said sometimes, revisionist history is it's astonishing to me. Like, I want to revisit. How old am I now? 40. When I get 65, 70. I hope I got the wherewithal to go back and think of COVID and just be
gonna see what
the fuck did I miss? And then that's the thing with revisionist history. Sometimes when you watch these documentaries and you don't live through it, just like for instance, Waco. Every time I go back and watch the documentaries about Waco, I be like, I remember this shit.
Bro, they don't realize. They be like, man,
these niggas really had a point. Like, in Waco, they was like, well, this is the separation of church and government, and the government overstepped their bounds at this time. If they never overstepped their bounds, but then if you think about it, if they did, what if these niggas just pop off with some guns? But then it's like, it was a bigger play outside of saying it was a cult. They did da. I was like, damn, it was really a
you got to market this shit for mass consumption, but at the end of the day, you got to really dig and see what the hell was really going on.
It's crazy,
and we lived through a whole lot of that shit.
Yeah, you don't know it. That's why it's like
we
documentaries will make you realize some certain shit because. It's just like listening to rap. Sometimes when you in it, that beat got you.
Then you slow down, listen to some lyrics.
Listen to the lyrics, you like,
nigga, what?
Just like shout out to Scarface when he was on Tiny Desk. I'm sitting here listening to this nigga spit like poetry. And I'm just like,
that's why I always love Face, man.
That motherfucker,
because it was stories.
Yeah,
he always told a story every time.
I was like, I got so lost up in watching fucking Bushwick Bill and shit and Willie D. I was like, you don't really, and it's like that. Sometimes you need revisionist history, man. You need to go back and think.
That's why I ain't never understood how people watch movies one time.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. Some movies lend themselves to one time watching, though.
I mean, if you like it, if you like the movie and you was like, oh, that was good, but you don't watch it. Like, I know people that say they don't watch movies but one time.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you do that, because even if it's a quote unquote bad movie, you watch it, you learn, you understand, and then you live your life. 3 months, 6 months, a year, you go back and watch that movie, you got a different perspective of what happened in that movie because you done lived and learned different shit since then. So it's like, oh, it's kind of like what you were saying with the documentary. You done lived, so you go back and look and like, oh, that's what was going on in life. That's what was going on in that movie. Like, I done went back and seen shit in movies I ain't even catch. And I done watched, it's favorite movies. I done watched a million times. I go back 10 years later and watch that shit. I was like, nigga, what?
I ain't gonna lie, not too recent. I know people gonna be like, nigga, you wasn't paying attention to worse shit. But I watched Color Purple, the original one. I just picked up on the fact that Celie and what's her name were fucking with each other.
Oh, yeah.
Celie and Sugar. Never picked up on it at all.
I mean, because when we was kids.
To that time when her and that dude came back and Miss Celie and Mr. sitting there mad as hell. I'm like, damn, she was fucking Miss Celie? Dang.
We was children when that movie came out.
We was.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you, as a child, you just see it as a situation. Like, if you ain't really on it like that, don't nobody tell you, you ain't picking up on that until you done live life and you see situations, and then you watch the movie as an adult, you be like, nigga, what?
What in the world? Me and my wife was sitting there, I said, baby, I ain't even know this part. And I'm sitting up here making you watch this movie. But I'm mad because you ain't seen it. And I'm sitting up here seeing new stuff.
Right. But I mean, that's a beautiful thing though. Yeah. I love it. But again, it is January and we are in the midst of like the weekend celebration leading up to MLK Day. And it's that time, you know what I'm saying? I know we did a pod a few years ago talking about MLK and everything. So I kind of want to do it again. Just to kind of, get the year cracking. Get it started with just kind of reflecting on how his legacy has affected our lives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, he been gone for decades. That's something that we didn't live through. Like, he was gone before we got here, but we seen the effects of what he worked towards in the subsequent years after that. So it's like, how has this really affected our lives? And for me, I mean, we kind of talked about it too.
Yeah.
Like personal growth and empathy is something that really stood out. Like his impact on my life, and I think you said it was for you too. What did that really? How did that really hit you?
I guess coming from this area, me and you done talked about it plenty of times before. You know, we in the South. We in these country towns. It ain't like we saying we ain't from Charlotte. I'm from a little place called High Show. You from a little place called Lincoln. And it ain't like we say them big cities. So we were in predominantly Caucasian areas, you know.
Yeah.
I just know, like, just him and because to me he was somebody I could identify with growing up, because my dad was a pastor. I grew up in a Baptist upbringing, and all of his teachings and all the things that he taught, they were biblical. It comes from the biblical side of things, and I don't feel I would have had no other way, because my dad was my biggest hero. Martin was the biggest Superman in black people history. Him and as I got older, Malcolm too, I understand him more. That's another thing we probably delve into, because they paralleled each other so much. But I just felt like, you know, growing up, I just knew that we were supposed to be open-minded to different races because of him. Like, and I agreed with him because I got taught the Bible, I got taught the Word. And most kids down here in this area, this the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
So we learned that. That's one of the things we learned, and I think as black people, one of the biggest focal points in the civil rights era was the churches. You know, whether it was your synagogues or your churches, your mosque. Like those were your main congregational points for black people. So
it was a safe haven.
It was our safe haven. That's what we were taught. Like I go back. Fancy Hill was a school for the kids and the black kids.
I was gonna say that it was a safe haven, an educational ground. You know, like it was really the main pillar in the black community, like the center structure of the black community. Yeah,
it was churches. I would say churches, barbershops. Those are the two main things. But it just his teachings was all biblical based. You know, it helped me be more open. I know growing up, even when I felt like I was the odd one out, you know, I always said my dad taught me to love everybody, no matter your color. My dad also told me stories too about how he had to, when they integrated North Gaston, how it was crazy. Like, it was crazy. He my dad, the most peaceful person I know.
Right.
And he fought somebody. Like,
I mean, because... go ahead.
And, you know, Martin was peaceful, but I know Martin had to get on his P&Q a couple times, but it's...
Yeah.
But that's the thing I learned, like, you know, as I got older, as you get older, you research stuff. But back then, it was all about being peaceful, knowing that, yeah, like I seen little white kids. I was like, y'all my friends too. Shit, I don't know no different. I said, if God created man, then He created both of us, so we can. Like I always known it. Like even growing up with me. Because I'm from the country, you from the country. Yep. Inner city kids have a different spin sometimes. So it's like, they looking at me, man, like, man, why you friends with them? What you mean? We all the same, I'm G.
Yeah, because at the time, like you said, we didn't know it growing up. But after growing up and researching and talking to people, you understand that, especially kids from the northern areas, like up north, like Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, and all that stuff up there, it's like they have a different level of education, because it was like people escaped the Bible Belt to go to freedom, so they went north and they went west, and they got a different level of understanding, a different level of education than we did, where it was still an oppressive nature down here. So yeah, when they seen us hanging out with white kids or being friends with white kids or whatever, they was like, man, why you doing that? That ain't what we do over here. And it's like, well, shit, you know, we really tried to, like you said, God made everybody. We trying to treat everybody the way we want to be treated.
Yeah.
And hope that they do that in return. I felt like, you know, growing up, I don't want to say, I'm trying to figure out how to word it. Like, as a kid, his legacy and like his teachings really influenced me to kind of look at things from a different perspective, because like I said, we got both of Malcolm and Martin, and like I understood like why Malcolm was so mad was because like this is oppression, like they coming at us, so we gotta buck back with force. But like growing up, like when they teach me about Martin, it's like, okay, sometimes you can't meet everything with force. You have to kind of turn the other cheek in order to progress. Like, don't do it in a way that's gonna make somebody think they can run over you. Because like you said, he had to be on his P's and Q's sometime.
Yeah.
But do it in a way that makes somebody understand, okay, this is what you're doing to me. This is how I feel about it, and this is why you ain't gonna continue to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you feel like you gonna continue to do it, then we gonna have some problems.
Yeah.
Like, and that's really the nice way to put it, because at the end of the day, even in 2024, we still see racism.
Yeah.
It ain't went nowhere. It just looks different.
Well, I think hate is as fluid as water. It can take on many forms and shapes. Racism to me is just one of those. It's one of the coldest forms. It's like the ice. It's there, and it is. It's cold, but I think hate won't ever go nowhere. Even if water evaporates, it's still water. It's just done took another form.
Yeah,
it's just like it's always there. One of the hardest things, and I still to this day ain't, grabbed that concept of what Martin was doing, was like, and I still battle with it, is no matter how much good you do, everyone doesn't love you. Like, I that's one of my biggest things. I still go to therapy because of that, because I just don't understand it. Like, no matter how much good you do, it's never enough, because you always have haters. And it's crazy because I just said hate never goes nowhere. It just changes different forms. But that's one of the biggest concepts I never understood. Like, if people really ask themselves, how could you hate? Martin, what did he do to you to make you hate him? What did he do to warrant? He was in jail more than Malcolm was ever put in jail. Mm-hmm. That man spent
as a revolutionary.
He spent time in there, and he was peaceful. Didn't do a thing. And then you got the people now. Oh well, y'all just didn't know he was a womanizer and he drunk liquor. Like, man, it's never enough good in this world you can do, and that's part of his legacy that I struggle with. And sometimes I be thinking, man, I be like, man, sometimes I be wanting to ask people. Like, I would love to ask him, like, how did you deal with that? Mm-hmm. Well, even my dad, sometimes I feel like he did so much good, but I know he had haters. Mm-hmm. How you deal with it? Mm-hmm. How you deal with the fact that you think you doing the right thing, and it's just not good enough for everybody. And that's the thing. It's like, in black people, we always have to have we said about Dion, somebody got to be it for all of us. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't just fit a certain group. Mm-hmm. You got to represent
everybody.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm. Like, even though everybody ain't even the same.
Everybody ain't even the same. Like, how are we going to expect Martin to represent a Muslim? They ain't even know. They got two different teachings, but I ain't even going to get into all that. That's layered stuff, but it's like they got two different concepts of how to go about skinning a cat. Mm-hmm. But he got to represent them? No, he don't. It's like, how do you get over that? It's just like no, I ain't calling Martin Jesus, but just like in Jesus, like, if you follow Jesus' life or if you believe in him, it's like, this man had to represent all of. He basically had to die for all of.
And that's what I was about to ask. Like, at what point do you think in like a revolutionary's or any, not even just a revolutionary or just anybody that's trying to affect change on the world, at what point, if at any point, do you think that they're like, okay, in order for me to get the point across that I'm trying to get across, I'm going to have to die for this to get my point across? Well, at what point do you think that crosses their mind? Or do you think it... You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, we done lost a lot of people that have fought for what they believe was the right thing to do to progress black people in this country.
Yeah.
So I always wonder, like, at what point did they decide, all right, this ain't going nowhere. I'm really gonna have to put my life on the line, and I'm gonna have to raise my family with the understanding that I may not be here tomorrow. When you wake up, I might not make it back home today because this is the message that I'm trying to prove.
Well, you talking about what's the point? When is the point that they accept martyrdom? Pretty much.
Yes.
Oh man, I don't know, man. That's a good question.
Or do they ever? Like, or is it ever even a thought? It might not even be a thought in some, because it's hard to ask that question because they already did. You know what I'm saying?
It is hard to ask that to them. But if you ask yourself that question, when is the point that you say, I'm willing to give my life up for all this?
Yeah.
For people who don't even know me, for people who may not even accept my message.
Because some of us, I feel like a lot of us have...
Who I'm trying to fight for. They may not even accept me, but I will give my life up. You know what? That's a good question, Chris.
Even as a father, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and I'm not, but even as a dad, like, you hold your kid for the first time, and it's like, you know, I die for this kid.
Yeah.
Like, I guess at that baby's birth, you understand right there, I would be the martyr. Like, I will go to war and die just to make sure that this kid is okay.
Yeah. I don't... Damn.
So, I mean, for me...
I would think you had... For you, how would you... Wouldn't you think? Because I'm having a problem answering the question.
I mean, it is...
What's your opinion on when?
It takes a lot of. In my opinion, it would take a lot of self-reflection and, as Cat Williams would say, being in tune with your star player, which is yourself, to understand your mission and really making that decision like, all right, this is it. Like, my purpose is bigger than being alive on this earth. So I need to do all that I can, reach as many people as I can before this is over.
And that's like you said something. My purpose. You don't first. I think they'll do that once they accept their purpose. Mm-hmm. You have to accept your purpose before you get to that point, because you're not gonna say I'm gonna die for no reason, you know.
Yeah.
So I believe my answer is when you find out what your purpose is, whatever your purpose is. Sometimes the walk in purpose, it isn't always. Purpose isn't always instant gratification. It's not an instantaneous thing. It don't happen all the time. It don't. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you may get that little instant, you know. Sometimes your purpose is not that gratifying.
I think if you're looking for it to be instantaneous, you already
messed up.
Yeah,
like
that's with anything.
With anything, like even if you go back to God, and if He is the giver of all purposes, if He gave the purpose to His Son just to die, what do you like? His Son died knowing His purpose, but His purpose didn't get felt after He died. So He didn't even get to live in that. So it's like, why I believe once you accept your purpose, like Jesus had to accept His purpose. Once He did, He was at ease. He was standing up there with two robbers and thieves. He was up there with the whoremongers. He was up there with deplorable people, and he understood His purpose. He didn't look at it like I was up there with, I don't deserve to be up here.
Yeah.
I don't deserve it, but no, brother, that's your purpose. You walked your purpose. And He did question it. Like, I think there's a moment in time that Martin questioned his purpose. I think they all question. I think Malcolm questioned his. I think you question it, but once you accept it, that's when you understand, like, I might not come home.
I might not understand a whole lot of what needs to happen.
But I know
what I want.
Yeah, I know what I want. I know God put me here for that reason and this reason only. And if this is the way that that purpose has to get carried out, then that's just the way it get carried out. But there is always that moment. Jesus had that moment. He cried. Jesus wept. Jesus questioned. You know, he questioned why he had to go through this. It happens. I'm pretty sure Martin probably went to Coretta. I was like, Coretta. You know, because I done been locked up. I done been spit on. I done been bit by dogs, shot with water hoses.
Yeah, had lies told about me.
Told about me. And I understand you don't understand, but I have to do this. This is what God got for me. Because, sometimes it's hard to ask people who's the closest to you and who love you to go through things with you. It's not their walk. But I guess some of the teachers that Martin taught and bestowed upon me, that empathy, I can understand. Like, I can understand being in Coretta's position, and she just sitting there. She's just like, dang. why my husband got, man, I don't want to see my husband go through this.
Mm-hmm.
These people treating him like nothing, and he got the love of Jesus in his heart. And this man just loving you, and you were beating him. And like, I understand. Like, I think some of the martyrs too have to understand that loved ones ain't gonna be there with them like that. Like, 'cause they can't understand it.
But too, the loved ones that choose to stay, I think that's a testament to their understanding of their purpose.
Yeah.
And how to convey it to everybody. Because if you tell somebody, like, this is what I'm going to do, this is what's going to happen, this is where I'm going, and this is how it might end. If they don't leave, you know the real ones is right there with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he went to Coretta and told her all this stuff. She didn't leave. She stood right there with him. Because she knew that his life is big, his purpose is bigger than his life on this earth. So I need to make sure that everything else is taken care of while he gone.
Yeah.
And when he come back, he need to have a safe place here so he can get whatever off his chest and cry or weep and sulk and sleep, whatever, just so he can be strong enough to go out into the world and do everything he need to do.
Yeah.
And that's cool to me because it's like you don't see stuff like that every day.
You don't. I mean, it take a certain special group of people to stick with you through it, though, Chris. It's like, you know, it do. One thing they always say, you know, God gives the vision to who that vision goes to, but he doesn't give it to a multitude of people. Whatever vision he gave you is yours. You carry it out. Now, those who follow you through your vision, if it's rooted in God, they will be, you know, they will be rewarded for being faithful, you know. But they don't necessarily guarantee they're going to believe you. If you look at all the disciples that, you know, Jesus had, all of them didn't believe him. They denied that nigga a couple times. So it's like, you know, but he knew that going in too. He knew it. So at the end of the day, I think it's like it's knowing your surroundings. I think that's a part of empathy. You know, a lot of people want to label themselves as empaths or they can empathize, but really, can you? Can you? So can you look at a person who, you say you're an empath, but you can look at a person who's doing you wrong. Can you understand why they're doing you wrong? Or can you not understand it to accept, but understand it to see? Like, I can understand it to see, like, okay, you felt like, okay, I understand how you can get that way. But that ain't what it is. But I understand that. Right. I don't hold it against you. But that don't mean that I'm cool with it. That don't mean I'm all right with it. Yeah, I'm not all right with it. But I understand you took it that way. It is what it is.
And we're not going to do that no more.
But let's check it at the door. And, you know, we can have a conversation. Like, I think that's one of Martin's biggest strong suits. That nigga can have a conversation while you hitting him upside the head with a billy club, my nigga. Right. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's a conversation to be had when you are trying to when you're trying to progress anything. There's conversations that have to be had, and sometimes they're uncomfortable. You know, when we just trying to get out of segregation and stuff, it was conversations to be had, and they was gonna be uncomfortable because you sitting right across from people who hate you. Like, hate is just as loud. Hate is even louder. That's than love. Than love. Yeah. Hate is louder than love. Love is just stronger.
That's why a lot of people say they'd rather have hate than love.
Because it's the loud thing. It's the one that's more boisterous. You see it.
And it's kind of more motivating at times.
It's like hate is more immature. Love is a mature emotion. It's like
it requires growth.
Yes.
It requires way more than hate. Self-reflection. It requires a lot more to get to that point, then the hate's just easy. Like, I don't
want to fuck with you. No.
Right.
I ain't messing with you.
Why?
I don't like
Why? Because he black.
Why you don't like me?
Because of the colors. I don't even know this man. I don't know nothing about him.
I dislike you for something you can't even change.
You can't even control it.
You don't control it.
And that's what makes me sick about the whole people not understanding the black man's plight in this country. Is that the whole country, almost the whole world hates me because of the color of my skin. To something that I can't even change. It ain't got nothing to do with transgender, gay, all this other things that people struggle with. Like, you can still walk down the street and they not know you are that unless you display that.
Yeah.
Purposely. I can't change it. you get what I'm saying? It's like there's nothing I can do about it. But that's what I was gonna say earlier. I got to a point in my life where I would start asking, like, my friends that I had maybe grew up with or people that I knew at the time, like white folks, how they came up when they was kids. Like, what did their parents tell them about black people when they were children?
You was brave. I ain't asking.
No, I mean, because that takes it does take a lot of bravery. But I would want to know, because a lot of people, we in the South.
Yeah.
I know how people are. You ain't even got to tell me. You can hear a motherfucker speak, and you already know what kind of time either they on or the people that they came from was on.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I hear what you're saying. You don't have no problem with black folks or this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. I get you, and I appreciate that. But when you was a child, when you was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, what did your grandparents tell you about black people? And some of them had decent upbringings. Like, and it would be mixed families at the same time too, which I could see that, because even in the stories about slavery, you would hear where the wife of the slave owner would stop him from beating a child or bring one into the house and, you know, raising them as they own or something like that. You would hear that kind of often. That might have trickled down through the generations, but you would hear like, well, my grandpa hated black folks, but my mama and my daddy and my grandma, you know, they always told me, you know, just treat people how, you know, you want to be treated or whatever. And then some folks be like, man, they would tell me to stay away from anybody that was dark skinned. Like, those is niggas. That's what we call them. If you call them that and you get in trouble at school, it don't matter. They send you home. You ain't even in trouble, because that's what they are, and that's how it always will be forever. Like, they tell me shit like that. I'm like, damn. Whew.
That's why I wouldn't have never asked it. I mean, but to me, for somebody to be able to tell me that lets me know that at least they appreciated me for even thinking of asking them that. Yeah.
Because a lot of people won't even care. They would just sit there and assume that just because of the way that they talk, like I said, we from the South, and you hear that twang in somebody's voice, you might just think that they on that time, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So the fact that I sit there and I asked them that, I could see that they might have appreciated me taking the time out and saying, hey, how was it like that? What was it like for you growing up? And they'd be like, damn, you know, I ain't never had nobody ask me that, man. I appreciate it. And then they have like a time to reflect.
Yeah.
And that might even trickle down to their kids and their grandkids and their great-great-grandkids. You understand what I'm saying?
That's the only way things gonna change, though.
Because like you were saying earlier, that reflection, that going back and looking at things, it's like, okay, well, damn, this is how it was. So now they starting to think, and some of them folks might even still be alive. Like, they can go back and say, well, why did you tell me this? What made you look at the world that way? Is it how you were taught? Because all that's taught. Racism is taught. You're not born hating somebody. So it's like that. How were you taught these things when you came up?
Well, see, one of my things, and what you just said is pointing on the fact of, like I said before, conversations have to be had. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
I think just being open with each other. And like I said, a lot of what he did was biblically based, and it goes parallel to churches. And I'll say this: it's just like with me, I feel like you can believe what you want to believe, as long as it makes you happy and brings you joy. Mm-hmm. I can understand it. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. I don't ever want a person to walk on this earth and not know what makes them happy or something that helps them be complete. If I say God is my God and that's just who it is, and I'm okay with saying that. Like, I'm okay with you saying, well, I like Buddha. I like him. I don't like him, but that don't make me hate you. Mm-hmm. See, that's the thing. It's like there's conversations that can be had, and the conversation don't mean we're gonna conversate for me to win you over.
It's a conversation. For me to understand sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I just need to know, like,
bro, I
don't know everything, and my opinions are formed on whatever I base them on. So it's like, to think that we know everything and don't need to conversate with the other side, I'm gonna do the Stephen A. Let's ask a 10. Let's ask a 9. Just ask a 9. It's like you cannot believe that just because you formed an opinion about something that's truth. Mm-hmm. And I believe that there's many truths in this world, and whatever it's what you lend your mind to is what you lend you. Sometimes there's some absolutes.
Yeah,
there is absolutes, but there is sometimes there truths. But there is an absolute truth in a lot of things. So it's like, I get it. You want to have that conversation with them, and that's the only way that progress happens. I think Martin taught us all that. Like, I remember, like, you'll sit there and listen to certain, because even from the beginning of racism and just the civil rights movement, it was always two sides of a coin. Mm-hmm. You had your militant and you had your peaceful. W.E.B. Du Bois versus Booker T. You had your educational nigga. Mm-hmm. Then you had your white educational nigga. It was always like that, because but they all had conversation. W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T had some of the best debates ever. Mm-hmm. Neither one of them side with each other, but it was a debate. Martin and Malcolm debated,
and it was needed.
Each other,
yeah, and it was needed because it opened eyes.
It did.
It opened hearts. It opened ears. It opened pathways to new beginnings.
Because what people got to understand, other people outside of our race, because I think we know it. Mm-hmm. We're not all the same. We are not monolithic. Mm-hmm. We, just like y'all have different kind of Caucasians or Asians or Hispanics or Costa Ricans or Puerto Ricans or whatever you want to, we're not all the same. So we have nuances. It's like we get generalized a lot. Like, like me and you said, somebody got to represent all of us. No,
right?
We're different. Like, we are different. Like, I don't know. It's like we not all the same. No, we didn't all grow up in the hood. We're not. What's another stereotype? We all didn't grow up with single mothers.
Right. We all didn't grow up broke.
We all didn't grow up broke. Some middle class, some rich, some filthy rich. Mm-hmm. Some are trust fund. We got black trust fund babies. Mm-hmm. We all don't have the same education level. We all don't have the same work ethic. We all don't like the same things. yeah, we have some things in common because that's built in our DNA, but we're not all the same. So it's like we've always had this thing where we could conversate amongst our race, but we had to be able to conversate outside of it. You know what I'm saying? Like Martin would conversate with the white person. Malcolm would. Malcolm had his ways. Now I'm reading the biography of Malcolm X now. It's a long read. I've been reading for years. If y'all done been following us on the pod,
you've been reading that thing for a minute, boy.
I can help it. I have to read piece at a time while I'm listening to jazz music.
Yeah.
Because it make me feel like I'm in a Spike Lee movie.
Okay.
So I be sitting there listening to some Thelonious Monk while Malcolm over here spitting.
Nigga having 40 acres and a mule hat on and everything.
That is. But yeah, it's like you have to have them conversations. Like I wish I did when I was younger, because it was some times that I felt weird. Like I told those times where I felt weird as a black kid, you know. I felt weird amongst my own race before, just because I was trying to get along with everybody. I done felt weird about.
Yeah, I've always said that about myself. I was always too black for the white kids and too white for the black kids.
I'm just in the middle.
Like I'm just
that's how I felt. I was like, bro, I don't know.
Too smart for the dumb niggas and too dumb for the nerds. Too nerdy for the I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
That's what I'm saying.
I would be so confused. Like, what the fuck is going on, man?
And I think
I hated that shit growing up. But
you failed to fit in. You didn't play the game everybody else played. That's why I was like, I don't play the game like But that's one of the things I struggle with. It. That's kind of aside from the thing. But I just had to kind of like. I'm glad you said.
I kind of had to figure out like, at what point do I want to play the game? Because it's like shit. Because nigga. Who am I?
That's the thing, man. I think like we go through that, and I don't think we the same, but we not. Like we struggle just like y'all struggle. But if we don't have those conversations, though,
sometimes I love it though. Even like and what I mean by that is like when they think we all the same, and then they get to hear me talking. And I be
like that shock
and I come from
wow, I got you.
Like it be all colors. It don't even be a certain background. It could be country, it could be city, it could be black, it could be white, Hispanic, from wherever. I done had folks look at me like,
I'm gonna tell you,
where the fuck you find this nigga at?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. It used to irk me, Chris. Like I be around some white folk that be like, shoot, bro, I ain't think you act different than black people. I'm like, what you mean, my nigga? I want to say my nigga, but they white, and I wasn't gonna say that. But I'm like, what you mean, bro? And he was like,
I would have said that shit to make him real uncomfortable.
Then one of them gonna go, yeah, man, the black one, this older black lady used to cook my food. Used to do this. I grew up with a mama, mama.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of blacker than you, nigga.
Man, I'd have had somebody tell me some shit like that.
See,
before.
This is why. And then I used to get offended, but then I thought, I was like, bro, that's because y'all believe in stereotypes.
I about had to yoke a bitch up one time for saying something like that.
Let me tell y'all something.
Shit was ignorant.
If you don't know where you from, I know where I'm from. I know my black history. Mm-hmm. Know your black history. Do you know who George Washington Carver is?
Everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga.
Yeah. Do you know who? I'm like, y'all don't even know your black history. The only thing you know is that you was around black folk and you soaked some stuff in. Mm-hmm. That's okay, but that's why I find it important to find pride in being black. Like, because I got somebody wanted me to do a piece for Black History this year, and I was just like, what can I do it on? And I was listening to Curtis Mayfield's my favorite song, well, I call it Joy because that's what Kanye and what's name did it.
Oh yeah.
The pieces of you.
I know the song. Yeah.
All it's about is finding joy in who you are. And finding joy, like joy. That's joy knowing you, who you are. And I was just like, black joy. I ain't started writing it yet, but it's like there's a joy in being us. It ain't because that's who society tell you are. The black person that society paints ain't a black person. That's a caricature.
Yeah, I can see that.
What society tell you a black person, that's a character. There ain't that. That's not a black person. A black person is you. If you Afro American, you are what a black person is, and whoever you are, you represent a segment of what black is. Like, I'm just a segment. You don't do this, I don't, but I'm still black. Like, I can't help if I used to tell people, I was like, I can't help that's how my daddy raised me. Shoot. I'm just glad my daddy was there to raise me.
Right.
I'm glad I had my papas in the neighborhood full of black people that I learned from, who taught me love, bro. I'm like, I'm proud of it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna act any different just because that's what you think that I came from. Well, that's not what you think I came from. Like, you might think I came from a single parent household, on welfare and all this other shit, and which that ain't no knock against anybody, because there's still a lot of strong people that come out of those situations. But you're not gonna sit here and look at me any different because you think I came from that, and the fact that I'm proud that I didn't isn't gonna change how you treat me, because the moment you say something sideways and I check you on it, I'm gonna let you know that yes, I had a daddy and a grandpa that raised me, and they also taught me to smack the shit out of a motherfucker to say something crazy to me. like, and then they start looking at you crazy when you say stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
But it's like, and that's where that struggle between Malcolm and Martin come in, because it's like I try to be peaceful, I try to turn the other cheek, but now you done made me say something crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, so now I'm gonna give you a taste of Malcolm for a second. If you don't act right.
Yeah, we not. It's weird because I feel like we the only race they do like that. It's like they try to make, and that's the thing. Like, be proud of who you are. Like, I tell people all the time, my daddy is my hero. He taught me everything I need to know. But I'm gonna tell you this: learning a whole prism of the black man experience, it took more than my father.
The makings of you
the makings of you. Had a little sugar.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my junk, boy. Don't make me go home and put my record on.
Man.
My wife gonna kick me out.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't want to hear that today.
I ain't mean to cut you off.
But nah, it's it takes more. I was raised on hip hop. Hip hop taught me a lot. Miss Betty at Fayetteville Baptist Church, who was my cousin, she taught me a lot. I've always said I'm just a country boy from the red dirt clay roads in North Carolina. It takes a microscope for me to see what happens in New York City and Harlem, Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, the Bronx, Queens, wherever. It takes a microscope, and hip hop was that microscope. And I know it's popular sometimes to make people hate the most powerful things about them in their life, but as black people, we have to learn to embrace hip hop. Christian, non-Christian, embrace that.
Hip hop in its true essence.
Hip hop in its true essence was created by us, only by us. It was a language spoken by us. And in all honesty, we the ones that can speak that language the best. Like, if you ask I know Kobe could speak 8 different languages or something like that. But he still couldn't speak it better than that man from Italy who was born Italian, who was sitting their tail in Italy.
Right.
It's like this is ours, and I feel like it's popular to conquer and divide because that's what they've been doing our whole lives. Like, make them hate a piece of themselves and love the piece of us that's the evilest. We love the white man for their money and the things they've gotten, their material things. They make us want that. They make us crave it. And forget about our spiritual side. Forget about that piece of us that's valuable. Like,
yep.
That's
the game plan.
That's the game plan. They make us hate that side of us. They make us hate our spiritual side. They make us hate.
They make us hate people that look like us. Like, I feel so bad every time I hear a pastor or something or a Christian person say, rap don't belong in the church. Why don't it? That's a gift, bro. Every gospel singer. First of all, gospel is it's an amalgamation of. I like to use my words sometimes. Hey, I ain't mad at you.
It's like an amalgamation. It's this
use some SAT words.
This form that's created when two genres just mixed together, and we forget it's rhythm and blues. They use the same chords, progressions. So
80 to 90% of your blues, jazz, hip hop, R&B artists had church upbringing.
Thank you. So it's like we shunning them. Well, take pride in hip hop. Take pride in that part. Like, I know I put in one poem one time, like the language of kings was poetry. That was the language of kings. That was king talk. So we let them tell us it was a fad. We took a form that was a relic. Poetry was a relic. We learned it in English. It was Shakespeare did this, or Langston Hughes, which is my homie. He did this. You know how long ago the Harlem Renaissance was? Dang. So it's like it was a relic. It was something we studied in history books. We took that and we brought it to the forefront to where now it's the biggest. It's on the biggest stage. It's pop. It's popular music, and it's like. We let them tell us, this is a fad. That don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. It's trash. It's not real music. It ain't this. And then here go the black people who don't want to think. Oh, yeah. That ain't God's music. That ain't this. That ain't that. That don't belong here. It don't belong there. Man, look. Don't
feed into the bullshit, into the propaganda side of it.
Yes.
Because that's what it ended up turning into at the end of the day. Like it got to the point where it was popular and it caught everybody's attention. Then they understood, they are talking to each other.
It's code. So now,
matter of fact, Scarface made a song about it. Since we were talking about Scarface earlier, Hand of a Dead Body. Hand of the Dead Body. That was the name of the song. He had Devin the Dude and Ice Cube on it. I don't know if he did it at the Tiny Desk. I ain't even watched the Tiny Desk.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
I know it was gonna be. I just saw clips, but I don't know if he did that song. But I mean, it really talks about how exactly what you're talking about. He breaks it down into a whole. He did 2 16s and then Cube did the last 16. And I mean, he's basically telling you this was our genre. This is our thing. We made it for this reason. And then they took it from us.
And they continually,
And this was back in the late 90s, early 2000s when he made this song. So it's like that was back then, and it's gone now.
And they don't. First of all, Chris, they still trying. They trying to. We was just talking earlier, and I said, with greatness, failure is always right. There is no one who achieved greatness where failure wasn't right there on his heels.
Yeah,
that's what makes great. Mm-hmm. It's that loss that's right there behind you. It's like they know, and just as your greatness grows, so does that failure. It grows right along with you.
Yeah,
and it's like now they learned that it was code. Mm-hmm. Now they using it to lock you up. Mm-hmm. If you ever watched the show The Wire, and they talking through the phones, when they talk through the phone, the FBI got to learn how to decipher that code, and they locking you up. Mm-hmm. They doing that with our music. They don't do that with any other genre.
Nope.
None. I was like, y'all take ownership in this. Like, I hate it, bro. Like,
yeah,
we get so sidetracked. You know why we get sidetracked? Because the conversations are not had. Like,
yeah, it is to
like
me.
Martin wanted you to have he pushed conversations to the forefront to have them, and he sat across from his enemies and had them. We don't.
So, at what point does somebody decide to die to make it change?
It's once you realize your purpose. You got to be comfortable in your purpose, bro. Like, you gotta be comfortable in your purpose. Like, I think even as a father, like you gave that example as a father, and you looking at your kid and like, I die for this. Like, I would risk my life to protect you. It's a point. I believe at that point where that gun is drawn at your kid, that's where it's a thing. Mm-hmm. It's you realizing at that moment my purpose was to make sure this seed grows up to be a functioning human being in this world, and if it's by me protecting them because he done made a bad decision, then hopefully he learned from this.
And I think that's what Martin's legacy kind of taught me, was to see, not only just to see, but to understand my purpose. Mm. And it wasn't just him, but like since we on the subject of him, like his legacy really taught me how to kind of understand or look at my life, what I want to do, and understand what my purpose is, and then go out into the world and give that to other people. Because at the end of the day, whenever you have those interactions with people, like I said, when I talked to folks and you said that was brave of you to say that, like that's gonna spread.
Yeah.
Might not change their mind about who I am, might not change their people's mind about who I am, might not change their kids, but it changed something.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. And it planted that little bitty tiny seed.
It put a current of change in the air.
And that's all it takes sometimes. Yeah. And once and you might not even have to die for it. I know a lot of people that do die for it. That's where a big change comes, but that kind of change is necessary.
It is.
And those conversations are necessary, and that influence is necessary, because I saw it. Like I said, I didn't grow up in that era. I had to look back at it, and I was taught about it. And my parents told me, and it's like, okay, I want to have some type of positive. I felt felt like I wanted to have some type of positive effect on the people that was coming around me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect. I might do or say things that's not, quote unquote, on the right path of whatever, but I'm human.
You're human, and that's.
I make mistakes.
I'm glad you said that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not. And I look at everybody else the same way. Like, okay, they did this. I can't hold that against nobody. Like, unless you just deliberately doing this shit to me every day, then you know, okay, I'm tired of turning the other cheek. Now I'm about to smack the shit out you. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I can't fault you for that. I can't hold that against you because I know you human. I can't take it personally.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like what Martin meant to you is he taught you the value. He taught you the value of living a purposeful life. Mm-hmm. One of the things I say, and I've said it in multiple interviews, is your purpose, your God-given purpose, is not self-serving. It's to make the world around you better. Mm-hmm. Whatever God gives you, this talent, this microphone, your ideas, Chris, that spark that's within you, whatever He gives you, is to give to others. It's to spark others. It is to put that current of change in the air. Like, that's purposeful. Mm-hmm. And you say, well, when do you know, or that, you know, when do you accept the fact that you may die for this? And I said, when you accept your purpose, like, because to be purposeful ain't to reap the benefits instantly. Mm-hmm. It's it's really just
or at all.
You may never see it, but you know what you're doing. You know, just like you said, it might not change the people, you know, instantaneous around me. It might not be their kids, but you know it's going to change. It's a change. It's a change of what's around you. You just change that current and wind around you, so something might blow your way.
Yeah.
Something might blow your way. So it's like, to live a purposeful life ain't always the easiest. It ain't the most glamorous. It is filled with empathy. It's filled with love. It's filled with acceptance. It's filled with self-reflection. Mm-hmm. It's filled with knowing we fail. Knowing we fail, but my failure ain't who I am. It's the springboard to where I'm going to go. It's not to live that purposeful life like Martin, like those who achieve greatness. It's not self-serving. If you find somebody who's great, who's self-serving, then how you gonna be great to me if you're just great to yourself? You great. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't add nothing to my life.
Right.
But you are adding to your pockets, and you rich or you whatever, but you ain't adding to my life.
Right.
Sometimes there is a sacrifice in being great. There is a sacrifice in being great. If you ask Kobe what his sacrifice was in being great, he sacrificed his family. He sacrificed a lot just to be locked in on greatness. Mm-hmm. I believe if you ask LeBron, you ask Jordan, you ask Curry, what did they sacrifice to get, even on the sports level? Ask Barack, what did he sacrifice to get where he at? Ask Malcolm. Malcolm sacrificed a lot. You sacrifice something to get there. So I feel like in order to be, we're all martyrs to greatness. We are all martyrs to greatness. Like, you sacrifice something to be great. We're all martyrs in our own right. Mm-hmm. And we watch these people like Martin. I don't know if I ever get to the point where my life gets sacrificed. I mean, if that's in God's will, but I know it took a sacrifice for him to get there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you said a lot, because like with anything in life, you have to sacrifice something to get where you need to be. Mm-hmm. You want to be 150 pounds and you weigh 400, guess what? You're going to have to sacrifice a lot. You're going to have to sacrifice complacency with activeness.
Yeah.
You're going to have to sacrifice the food that you're eating for the food that's going to make you more healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be stronger, you're going to have to sacrifice sleeping an extra 2 hours, getting up and working out before you go to work.
And you know what all that you just said equates? Time. Give it time.
Yeah. Like, and use the time you got.
It's time. But hey, time is something you can't get back. You can give it away.
That's the one thing that ain't coming back when it's gone.
Ain't never.
I won't be worried.
And then even when you get time, your body done aged. Mm-hmm. Your life done changed. Like you don't. Like people say, Father Time is undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
No matter. Well, I woke up. You did woke up. You just woke up older.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's just you can't. It ain't nothing but mileage.
And that's one of the jewels. All the stuff that, all the wildness and the shock value that Cat had the other day. That's that one thing, or one of the many jewels that he dropped that ain't getting played enough. Where he said, if you sit down at night and you had that conversation with yourself and say, this is probably it, because tomorrow ain't guaranteed. When you sit down with yourself on the edge of your bed at night and say, well, this could have been it, and you start doing that every day, well, this was it. You gonna start living your life like you really mean it every day.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? Because like you gonna start living your life like, okay, I got to get the most out of this day because this is all I got. Yesterday gone. Tomorrow not promised. I got right now to get all this done that I need to get done. And then you sit on your bed at night and be like, all right, this was it. Did I do what I needed to do to further my purpose today? And if you could say yeah, then good. And if not, you need to make a decision about what you're gonna do if you get up the next day.
You gotta make that sacrifice. Remember, like you said, what's that point? You gotta make that realization.
Yeah.
I gotta be a martyr for greatness. I gotta sacrifice something.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just do. Piece of you got to die for a new piece to grow.
For sure. Boy, we've been on one today, man.
Yeah, man.
We've been on it today, but
well, I'm gonna tell my wife it's Chris' fault when I come home and sit in my garage and listen to some David Ruffin and Curtis Mayfield with me.
Oh man. Hey, look, I apologize ahead of time if you're gonna have to hear this man blasting
some Curtis.
Yeah.
You want the ghetto. Boy, I was pumping that the other day on my record player, man. Don't play. This man got classics over there in that stash. Had me in there being introspective with Stevie playing.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I got Inner Visions, I got Songs in the Kid Life, I got hotter than 4th of July, some hotter than 4th of July. I got Earth, Wind, and Fire. I be in there.
I feel you,
bro. This a soul music night tonight.
See, I ain't got nothing on the record player right now. Last thing I took off of there was Barrington Levy or something like that.
Oh yeah, I had some,
you know what I'm saying?
Reggae playing
Black roses in my garden. That's my shit. That Barrington Levy is my dude, boy. Hip hop didn't even realize. Some of the folk didn't even know. They was like, "Who this dude, man?" Barrington Levy been out for decades.
Yeah, I ain't gonna. I
reggae.
This is my boy Buju.
Oh yeah.
I love Buju.
I wanna be loved.
Nah, who you think I am?
Man, look.
I was in there.
Don't get me started.
On the cruise ship.
Yeah.
My kids, and the kids in there looking at me like, what is he jamming?
They throw some reggae.
This is some Buju right here, boy.
You throw some reggae on.
Some Buju.
I'm a whole look. It should just come out of me. Start moving. They be like, man, what's wrong with you, man? You don't hear what's on?
Be in there grooving, boy.
Yeah.
I was in there frying some chicken the other night to some reggae.
Look, I can't get the housework done because I be in this motherfucker like, damn. Look, I be in there with the broom practicing bachata and all kinds of shit, man. Look, I can't. Salsa dancing.
My own world.
Salsa dancing with the mop.
My wife come in there one time. I forgot what was on. Nigga, I just pulled out. We just started dancing. I said, I can't help it. I said, man, people don't be real. I be in my office desk. I said, I hope these people don't come by here because I'm listening to. I done got to this thing where I'm on the 90s now, but I don't really. I guess it's just so current.
Yeah.
Like I got Amazon Music, so they got 80s read something, 80s, 70s. Like you can do it like 70s R&B.
Okay.
Revisions.
Oh, I got you.
R&B 80s. So I went from the 70s. That's what you sold. 80s is where funk was introduced into R&B. Prince, Billy Ocean. I'm in there. Man, nigga, shoulders going and stuff.
Man, look,
typing on the key.
Yeah.
I'm like, boy, if my boss walk by here, I ain't gonna play it off.
I don't even give a damn.
I'm in that gym, boy. I'm like, boy.
I be on it. My playlist crazy as hell.
Bro, I tried to do the 90s and I was like, okay, I like it. That was like the first couple songs is One in a Million, Mary J, Real Love, Aaliyah's One in a Million. Yeah, 1 in a Million. I was just like, okay.
See, I can't.
It's good, but
man, I know better than that, Paul. Because you
be hitting. Though.
I know. I got you.
Because they play George Michael, bruh. And I'm sitting in there listening to George Michael like, all right, this white man has some hits, bro. He has some hits.
I be hitting from 60s all the way to the 90s. You get what I'm saying? And I know you, cause you a New Edition.
I love the 90s.
You a New Edition.
80s.
Boys to Men. Like, you know what I'm saying? That
80s is bad, though,
New Jack Swing.
80s got Patti LaBelle in there.
They do.
You know who don't, but you know what's funny? You know who in every one of them? Mike Jack. I was like, God dang, this nigga in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
I was like, this
even 2000s.
Like, dang.
Blood on the dance floor. Yep, there you go. You got
I'm like, bro, he on every damn thing.
That's a bad man.
Him and Prince. Prince was in he on the 80s.
He on the 80s
and 90s.
heavy.
Yeah, heavy. I was like, dang, man.
Yep.
But I be in there. I don't know, man. I was gonna put that in the group chat. I'm like, y'all don't know. I know we say 90s is the golden era.
Hip hop.
Hip hop. I guess you would say no. 90s is the golden era R&B.
Yeah.
But I'm like, 80s is just so
the early 90s was R&B. Golden era, like it really hit that stride. See, we done got crazy, but it's like early to mid 90s was when it really hit that boom. And then mid 90s to early 2000s is when hip hop hit that boom.
Yeah,
and then they ran together.
The first couple songs on the 90s had "Killing Me Softly" too. That was like the third. So I'm like, this is all hip hop R&B.
Yeah.
But then when you get in the 80s though, they got Luther, they got Whitney, Prince. I'm like, this is crazy, man. I can't differentiate y'all because I'm in here rocking the George Michael. They put that George Michael on there. What's the one? Teacher, learn things that I don't want to learn. Well, I was there singing it. All right, man. I said, I hope my coworker don't hear me sing this George Michael, but this nigga going in.
Hey, it be like that, man. It be like that.
80s bad, y'all.
Tina Marie get me going a lot.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Look,
Rick James in the 80s.
I'm telling you.
I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, okay.
Best thing to ever come out of Buffalo, New York.
I'm saying. I was like, man, I don't know if I can say the 90s washing them like that.
Yeah. I feel you.
80s go in.
80s go in, but it do.
80s go in.
It do.
Patti LaBelle in the 80s.
Shaka Khan.
Nita Baker. I'm like, okay, this is my thing. I was like, okay. I don't think. Oh, it's called Rediscovered. So I guess like they put these playlists together. Yeah. Rediscover some of the hits from that time. I'm like, oh man,
it was like that. It's packed. It's jam packed.
Atlantic Star in the 80s. You had. I was like, okay, this is what I got to realize. I was born in the 80s, the very beginning of the 80s, 1980. So by the time I got, 5, when I recognized music the most. Because I remember Orange Juice Jones, I Saw You Walking in the Rain. I used to sing that in kindergarten, I think. I don't forget how old that song is. Mama had to go back and look. But I swear I used to sing in kindergarten because that was one of my favorite songs, still is. And that's in the 80s. I was like, dang. 80s is where I guess I fell in love with music from the beginning, but
yeah, because you was sitting in the back.
90s is where I could.
You was sitting in the back seat. You was sitting in the back seat of the car, listening to whoever was listening to, and
my sisters,
whatever was on the radio.
Mama wouldn't. That Mama would pump that Luther and Anita, so I knew that part. But the other stuff come from MTV and my sisters and stuff. But yeah. George Michael Cole, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, George Michael Cole, man.
All right. So y'all done got y'all musical recommendation for the week. So that's what you need to be on. You need to check out.
Yeah, if y'all would act right, we could put that on the darn page and ask y'all what era y'all think.
Yeah.
80s, 90s, 2000s.
You just need to get active again. Yeah.
What we got? Who y'all got? I got 80s. I'm an 80s man now. I'm off tonight. 90s is there.
That's the New Year's resolution. We getting active on the page this year.
Yeah.
We getting more active so we can get y'all active.
I ain't gonna lie, Chris. I know this ain't inside, but I've been off social media for a minute. I took a little.
Yeah.
You know, my church did a thing where we fast. And that was one of them, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I haven't touched Facebook in about 2-3 weeks. 2 weeks?
All right.
2 weeks strong.
I cut way back, but
I'm trying to stick with it.
But I need to, just for like business purposes, because I know
that's what I'm saying.
For this,
I'm
in a transitional period too, so it's like
I gotta show self-restraint. See, that's the thing. People always be like, "Yeah,
you can get on there and start scrolling."
Yeah,
it's easy to.
I'm good. I'm strong. No, you ain't, because the thing is, I can't say that I'm doing good if I don't test myself. Which is, nigga, you know, you gotta go on there and do. I thought about that the other day. I was like, we got posts. I was like, bro. Probably you don't go on there, you're gonna start scrolling. I was like, fuck. But then I think about it, you gotta test yourself, man.
Yeah, that's like somebody you stop drinking. Like, it's easy to not go to the liquor store or whatever to buy alcohol and whatnot, but your real test is if somebody invites you out to hang out and you go to the restaurant or the bar, don't order a drink. You in a party setting and you're not drinking. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. Like you said, test yourself. Make sure you really on it like you need to be on it. But for sure. Appreciate you, man.
No problem, man.
Yeah. Y'all make sure y'all check us out.
Yes, sir.
Every Monday.
Yes, sir.
4:00, all the platforms. This is just the Martin Luther King tribute. We'll get back to regular potting around February, around All-Star. Expect to see us back in full effect, jumping back at you. Active on the page. We're gonna get active on the page before that though, so make sure y'all liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, YouTube, all that, man. Whenever you're ready, let me know so you can slide through. Peace.